Hey guys, so it's me, Nicolette, and today I'm chilling on the couch with Arabile Gumede, and we're going to be discussing his first time with money. But he's got a whole lot of other stories to teach us, some money lessons, some money nuggets, and I'm quite excited to hear what he has to say. He will introduce himself, guys, don't worry, don't stress. I know a lot of you already want his Instagram handle, his Twitter handle, his everything handle. You will get it at the end, okay? Thank you very much. Let's hear what he had to say.
The name's Arabile Gumede, and I'm a financial journalist. I guess this is my video, and just explaining sort of my first time with money, I suppose.
So I think maybe let's start off with a story that you once told me. Now I don't know if you told me the story in confidence.
Yeah.
ShopRite.
Yeah. Gee, wow. So, it's a very difficult story because at the time, all we had left in the house. My mother hasn't worked a day since 1998, effectively. She's had odd end jobs here and there, and it hasn't been easy in that sense because you begin to not be able to afford anything. So throughout my entire high school career, my time in high school essentially, we had nothing. And we weren't able to actually afford anything, and we lived off sort of a stipend from my father. And you get to the end of it and you realize that, jeepers, you've lived through so much, and we actually had to even switch off the lights at the time in the place that we lived at, so paraffin stove, candlelight, all of that stuff, right? And so came a day when it was Christmas Eve, and you're quite right, this wasn't a story that I've actually told many people, but all we had left in the house was R1.30. And that is Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, and that's all we've got in the house. And you begin to ask yourself, what do you do then? And I told my mom that I'd be going out to go shopping, to go rather hang with my friends, rather should I say. And as I get to go outside, the notion of going to shoplift then sort of crosses my mind, and I go on to do that. And it obviously doesn't turn out well for me. I got a lucky break in that, and I think I got stronger from it. About a year and a half later, I then became deputy head boy in high school, right? So I sort of took that moment and tried to grow from it. Because yes, I had nothing, but that didn't mean it had to be the reason for me to turn out negatively, and I think that's the lesson from this. The essence was, from that moment, I learned a distinguished lesson with regards to money.
Yes.
And the significance and the importance of it, but also that it doesn't need to shape your life just because you don't have it. You need to make the choices that certainly work best for you and your life, because, jeepers, you'd be surprised at how much you can learn without it, so that you're better for it when you do have it. And I think that's kind of how my life has certainly gone better because of it.
And it's quite interesting that you speak about how you shouldn't let those kind of moments shape your life. But at the same time, there's so much lesson to garner from that specific moment. And I think, a lot of us who have known your very vibrant personality,
to say the least,
right? Being in the TV space, being a good-looking man in the TV space, I can imagine the pressure of having to wear and drive and look like what you are earning. How did that one specific lesson teach you? You speak about Roy. And most of us have been asking, what kept you grounded?
Mom.
Yeah.
It's literally just one word, and I don't think anybody would ever begin to understand the significance and importance. I'm the proudest and happiest mommy's boy. I don't care what people think, say, do. I really couldn't care less. I am a mommy's boy, and I appreciate it so much because everything I know is from my mother. And with regards to just women in general, everything I actually know in my life, every lesson I've learned, learning to drive, learning to rollerblade, ice skate, just name it. Even being a public speaker actually came because of a teacher of mine in primary school, and Mrs. Russell was just amazing. She just said, listen, take your personality and use it constructively, and I suppose that's where this stems from. But my mom has certainly been the crux and the pillar of it all. When the situation at ShopRite sort of happened as well, she was just the one person who just sat there and said, I may not know what to do, but just know that I'm here. And it doesn't matter what situation it is. Right now, I love to try and make her comfortable, try and make her happy, try and give her everything she needs. I never want her to suffer. I really don't. I really certainly get hurt at any moment's notice. And I'll give you a story. Just very recently on Mother's Day, my mother asked me to buy her a lamp. Well, no, a light fitting, should I say. And everyone's just like, it's just a light fitting, right? So it should be just a couple of $100. This thing was 4,000 bucks.
Mom.
Like, my goodness, 4,000 rand. And I was the excitement, I suppose, in me after scolding her about buying a light fitting for 4,000 rand, which I'm surprised I can do right now. Scold your own mother. It's just weird. I was still very excited to be able to say, go buy it.
And to be able to buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the end, just look at what money does. In the end, my mother doesn't buy a light fitting for 4,000 rand.
Of course not. She's a mother.
Instead, she buys a cheaper one for herself and then decides to buy me one as a gift as I redid my house. So, it's kind of amazing just to realize that even in wanting to splurge, there's still the essence of thought to say, wait, hold on, how can I make this economically just be better?
Yeah.
And if my mother can teach me that even now, at the age of 30, then best believe she's taught me everything I know thus far, and will keep that in her heart.
Yeah. Talk us through the house. Else?
One, it was a bargain.
Well done.
Nobody gets a 3-bedroom house for around R1 million these days, right? So that was massive in that sense. Two, my second name is Nhlanhla. And it just means lucky, yes, but the essence of the name is actually Unenhlanhla ngokukhula nekhaya.
Oh, nice.
And when my mother first bought a house, she bought it because she didn't want her and I to just be, without a house. And I think from there, even when we struggled, the one thing we always had was a roof over our heads, because the first thing she did was make sure of it. Make sure that we had a home, a place to come home to, and no matter what the world may think of us and how difficult things may be, we could come home and be at peace almost, and nobody in the world would see that we're struggling or know about that. And so the biggest thing I think for me was getting a home. We can have multiple discussions about whether it's an investment, whether it's not. For me, it's of huge sentimental value more than anything else. And whether it's going to be an investment later, who knows? My ultimate dream is actually to perhaps give it to my mom. Don't tell her I said that.
Let's hope she doesn't watch YouTube.
And I guess now it's a case of saying, what does it mean in future?
Yeah.
But for now, it certainly is, I think, probably the most important thing I've ever purchased in my entire life.
Nice.
And considering the history and my past, it is the most important buy and the most amazing thing that I think I've been able to do in my life. And it means the world to me.
All right. So tell us, Mom, the one lesson your mom taught you about money. It can be whatever it is.
But the biggest thing, and I must be honest, I think, so my mother and I never really got to buy at Woolworths, right? So
okay.
That's a thing, right? But right now I get to do that. But I still sometimes pick up the paper and just look at the sale and the specials and what is it that I can buy that is cheaper than before.
Which is what you were taught.
That's exactly it.
Yes.
Like, we used to literally wait every week. There would be a community newspaper that would be delivered to us. And all we'd do is scour through that and find the best deals on things.
Sure.
And things that we could buy that were cheaper than last week. And that's kind of what I still do at times right now, you know. Yes, fine, we don't do it as often because now you're just like, oh no, I really just want this thing, and you just take it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But I think I still have a keen eye for a bargain, which is exactly how the house happened.
Yeah.
But it certainly is a huge lesson to just think about how much further you could take, you know, the budget you may have. Doesn't matter whether it's 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 or 300 rand for that matter, but just how much you can use it to extend whatever it is you're looking to buy. So I think that's probably the one thing I've learned a lot from her. Which will
Right.
stick.
And then lastly, what is the one lesson that you wish you had known when you were making all those bad money decisions?
Oh man. That it's not that easy to make it back. I'm going to tell you this story as well. Look,
Yeah.
I had a bursary when I was young, right?
Okay.
In varsity. And that bursary was great, man. It was absolutely amazing. It gave me money into my account as well. We were able to put the electricity back on at home with that
Nice.
bursary and whatnot. But then I didn't study right. You know, I even failed a year in varsity. And in the end, when the bursary then was taken away from me because of bad marks and failing, I was literally told, listen, you owe us 140,000 rand. My goodness, I could not even fathom just how I'm going to pay back 140,000 rand.
Yeah.
You know, that is money that I could have used for something else entirely, to the betterment of my mom's life or my life for that matter, right? It's a whole car, guys. You know? And maybe fine, we don't buy cars for 140,000 rand, but I certainly do. You know, 140 and less is like my most really at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it matters a lot. The decisions we make when we're young will pay for. But I think if I had not failed also, I wouldn't have gone into the career I'm in right now.
True.
So it may have been a 140,000 rand mistake, but what did I take from it? Well, a whole new career that I'm able to monetize, you know. And I certainly think I've made all that money back in some way or other.
Nice.
So I suppose that's been helpful too.
Yeah. So tell us, I know I said one last question. What are you investing in right now?
Look, I guess right now I can clearly say that I'm privileged, right? Privileged enough to know, privileged enough to have the ability to invest as well.
True.
So everything from retirement funds to keeping, from my previous jobs, I've had preservation funds as well. So I've got a
Nice.
whole lot of those too. I do have unit trusts that I've invested in. I've got 2 portfolio managers
Nice.
who look after a share portfolio for me, 2 different portfolio share portfolios for me. So I'm able to do a whole lot of that for now. I do have a personal savings account as well. And this may seem like, oh gee, there's just money everywhere. It actually really isn't, surprisingly.
Don't lie, you told me once you
No.
saved 500,000.
No,
Don't come here.
no. So, you know, so then you begin to spread it out and realize
Yeah.
saving that 500,000 was not from just quickly here it is.
True.
You know, it's been something that I've been able to do over some time.
True.
And then you think about where to put it.
Yes.
You know, I've gone and redone my kitchen, for example, because
Nice.
I really just wanted to do that for myself.
Nice.
Which is a way to spoil myself then, right?
And to give
rest-
the property more value.
Of course, right, exactly. Just a quick note on that. Do not spend more than 10% of the value of your house on your kitchen.
Okay. I'm afraid to ask you how much you spend.
I'm not going
Do
to,
you cook?
I'm not going to tell you how much I spend. I can tell you that now I cook a lot more.
You have to.
I feel so guilty just looking at the kitchen and thinking that to myself. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's certainly a big thing. And just knowing, I think overall, that you need to put it somewhere. You know, one of the big things is making sure that myself and my mother are covered in the event that I also stop working for some reason, right? So I certainly have ways, means, and measures that I've put in place to ensure that that's working. And yes, I do have a will, for example.
Great. It's lovely to hear that.
Because I've spoken to quite a few people who don't.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing for me, I think, also being able to say, I may not have too much, but the little that I do have, I know exactly who needs to have it. I suppose you certainly know now who certainly is going to get it too, unless things change, of course.
Unless you make... okay, carry on.
There's no need to be spicy or shady about it. Look, certainly, one day if I get married or whatever, that situation changes. If I have a child one day, it kind of changes the way things pan out. Exactly.
Mama's weight.
So priorities then shift and change along. But I think that's the point right now, is that I'm able to say to myself, if things were to change, can I then still work to that? Can I still? And I think I certainly would be able to. I think what is interesting is that every end of the month or whenever I get a stipend or whatever you may want to call it into my account, I think I always get shocked almost. As a young boy growing up, we sort of never had anything with my mom. We grew up in a one-bedroom apartment, but that's besides the point, really. I think the essence here was that we never had, and so when the time finally came and I finally had something, I mean, the biggest paycheck I had received by the age of 21 was 5,000 Rand into my bank account, right? And that was just incredible. It was a whole lot of money for me, and it happened monthly. And then you begin to realize how things add up, and I didn't know what exactly I needed to do first. But then you begin to see the things, whether it be transport, whether it be clothing, whether it be food. It just was never enough, and I got to understand just what it meant to budget. I think from an early age, that's the one thing my mother did. We didn't have anything, and the moment we got something, my mother was able to make so much out of just 250 Rand at some stage, So I think what I got to learn over time was just where to use it, the things that sort of mattered most in that time. What is it that you want to achieve out of using that money? And I suppose that's where the essence of understanding what money does, the economics of it all. I always say to my friends, it's okay to buy the most lavish cars. There's nothing wrong with living outside and really just going clubbing and buying whatever. But if the next day you're coming to me, to borrow money, to ask for this, that, and the necessities you then need, perhaps then it's time to restructure and relook at your life. So I suppose the first time with money for me was about learning to get the things that mattered done first. And man, I've messed it up a whole lot of times. I've spent money that I definitely shouldn't have. And I've made really bad decisions, but then you try to reel yourself back in. And that's why getting to understand finance, money, the economics of it all has certainly been very helpful. Leave you with, from here on, is just make sure you have covered what you need covered. Not what you want covered, but what you need covered. The rest really is up to you. Arab money out.